All right, as you saw there, it was mid-February when the president launched that $75 billion housing plan. Just yesterday, adding to that, the president announcing additional mortgage modification initiatives. Well, it's certainly early to have any kind of gauge of the effectiveness of all this. And in major markets, we do see the prices are continuing to fall. We saw it in the Case-Shiller Index this week. You're looking here at the top 5 cities with the biggest home declines. I mean, compared to February of 08, look at Phoenix, 35% to the downside. Las Vegas, almost 32%. San Francisco, home prices down 31%. Miami, 29.5%. L.A. down more than 24%. The glimmer of hope, such as there is one, this is actually the first time in a year and a half that price drops have not set a record. So we're not seeing record declines anymore, but it's still pretty bad out there 100 days into the Obama administration. So the question we're asking tonight is, have home prices hit bottom 100 days in? Strong panel here from 3 of those 5 cities that we just showed you. I'm joined, first of all, by real estate analyst Danny Babb, who's here with me in New York. In Las Vegas tonight, Mark Stark is with us, runs Prudential Americana Group's that's Nevada's largest real estate company. In Miami, Peter Zalewski, who runs Condo Vultures, and John Rutledge of Rutledge Capital in Irvine, California. Let me go to you first, Danny, on housing. I mean, certainly the initiatives are out there. We said $75 billion. What's working, or is anything working right now?
Well, nothing's really working. When I talk with banks, and I've called 19 of them in the last couple of weeks, when I talk with banks, they say, call us tomorrow because chances are the programs will have changed. We don't know what the plan is. We don't know what's acceptable, what's not. The 7 to 9 million people that were supposed to be helped by the restructuring program, it looks like that's going to be close to around 500,000. And we know that exactly 1 person was actually helped by the Hope Now program. Okay, well, so if you want to call that success.
Who was that person, by the way?
That's a very good question.
All right, Peter, you know, you're on the ground there in, in Miami. Is Danny right? I mean, is nothing working yet, or is that an overstatement?
Danny's absolutely correct on an administrative perspective. On a psychological perspective, what we're seeing is there's a certain urgency that's starting to be created by first-time home buyers as well as those investors who are fearful as the Obama administration starts to bring credit back to the marketplace. Some of those great deals for all-cash buyers are going to start to disappear. Let me just give you one example. Week of Thanksgiving, we track active properties that are available in South Florida. Week of Thanksgiving, 108,000 properties for sale. Monday, 2 days ago, 89,000 properties for sale in a time when there's virtually no financing available in South Florida. So product is moving. It's the all-cash buyers and it's the first-time home buyers taking advantage of the $8,000 credit.
All right, that's very interesting. How about Vegas, Mark?
Well, I have to say that, you know, instead of saying it's not working, I just don't see anything that's been done that we can gauge to work or not. I mean, the only thing that has come out is the $8,000 first-time home buyer credit, tax credit, and the amazing thing is that's the one category that did need the help. So the people who really need the help are the ones not getting it.
What would you have liked to have seen? I'll just go back to you, Mark, on this real quick. What would you have liked to have seen done differently then? What was left out of this plan?
Well, one of the aspects is a tax credit for all people. I mean, nothing against first-time home buyers. I'm thrilled. Let's help them. But let's help all qualified buyers to buy, not just first-time home buyers. The other aspect that is so key is when we talk about helping the individuals who are actually going through this crisis, what about a credit reprieve? That if you did have a short sale or a foreclosure on your personal residence, but the rest of your credit is good, give you some sort of reprieve. Let you buy instead of holding you out, like, to be blunt, like you're a dirtbag now because you went through this problem.
Right. No, I get it. So the point, John, that Mark is making is essentially that there's been too much left out of this plan as opposed to what's been left in it or what's been put in it. What do you think about what's been done so far?
I think there's way too much that's been put in it, and here's what I mean by that. There have been programs created to allow the banks to package and sell certain kinds of securities in massive volumes. What I'm talking about is these alphabet programs, TARF, BARF, and all the others. And they will allow an investor to buy up those packages and make huge returns almost guaranteed by the government. I see that from the other side where I chair an investment company. I've seen hedge funds driving in. That will help unclog certain parts of the market, but it has also shut down banks' willingness to do anything else besides feed those programs.
Right.
So it's shut down the jumbo market, as Danny talks about. It's shut down the home equity lines. It's shut down everything else. And so I think it's a bad way to try and attack the banks.
All right, Danny, take it from there.
Yeah, no, John's absolutely right. The jumbo market is locked out. I called 19 banks, 18 of them are not doing jumbo loans today unless you have a 65% loan-to-value ratio. You show me somebody in this market that has a 65 LTV.
Right.
The banks...
Jumbo, we should point out, is the higher-end mortgages.
Yeah, well, actually, it's not even all that high-end if you look
Depending
at
where
the
you
two
live.
coasts. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Banks do not want to lend right now in a program that the government will not buy the security. So if it's not FHA or Fannie or Freddie, the banks simply don't want to lend it.
Is there a way, Peter, that we fix that problem that Danny and John are pointing out, or do you think it's a problem?
Well, what I can tell you, being down here on the ground in Miami, and I go out to the West Coast, San Diego, I go out to Las Vegas market a few times a year. What I'll tell you, what's happening here in Miami, I really feel like we went over the cliff a lot earlier than some of the other markets.
Yeah.
Interesting thing that we're seeing is that the local lenders in Florida, the Florida-based institutions that are sound, not the ones that are in trouble, they're starting to move in this marketplace, and they're trying to look at this as an opportunity to build a book of business. So they're going after some of those would-be clients of the future and providing some financing. And granted, they need to portfolio it, but they at least understand it. The criteria that we typically tell people if they're looking for financing is that A, you're going to have personal recourse. B, you're going to probably look at a maximum loan amount of 60%. But C, it's got to be within a 2-hour driving distance of that banker's office, so the banker could get in a car and on a whim go and check out the property and make sure it is what they say it is.
All right. Is that the similar situation then, Mark, out in Vegas, or is it different there on that? In terms of the lending actually happening?
Well, no, lending is going on, but it's certainly on the lower end for a couple reasons. One is the qualification aspects. Banks are still being extremely tough. Guys, here's what we got to look at of what the facts were. A year and a half ago, 18 months ago, and I'm not agreeing with how this was done, but you had no money down and people were lending at 125% of value. Now you have a 750 FICO score with 25% down, and you can't get a loan. And so the pendulum has swung so drastically to the other side, it's hindering the market overall. The other aspect of it is everyone continues to try and generalize the market. And you're just not going to have the facts. You cannot look at all price ranges, all areas of the market, and come up with the same answers. And they try and do a global program that will answer all these questions. And that's why all these mistakes are made, as one of the other gentlemen mentioned earlier, and then a lot of billions of dollars are wasted where we should have put them in a place that they could work.
All right, so now we've thrown around all the issues here on housing. Another big issue, first 100 days of the administration. Finally, around the horn real quick. Buy, sell, or hold the administration's housing initiatives in days 1 through 100. John Rutledge, I'm afraid to start with you, but I think I know the answer. Please.
Sucks. Sucks. They've gone after banks.
Do we have a screener to check out John's cards out there?
I am 130.
You get away with anything in California.
I am 130% invested in banks right now because the banks are being fed by the government in a way that does not solve the problem in the real estate market.
Danny, keep it clean, please.
I will, absolutely. It's a sell because credit is not a public utility, and we had Summers come out this week that said it will be fantastic when inventory is depleted so we can rebuild more inventory like we don't have enough of them already.
All right, a sell. That's a little bit better. Mark in Vegas.
I will keep it clean, but I'm still on a sell.
All
Definitely
right,
on a sell.
We have, for argument's sake, we have 3 sells if we do a translation on Dr. Rutledge out there, right? All right, Peter, you're last.
I'm definitely a sell. We work on the buy side, and we want nothing more than to bleed the market. Keep the financing out. Let's get the biggest discount possible.
All right, 4 sells. Again, translating for Rutledge again. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Good to see all of you guys. I'm telling you, we need a screener on